Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabedra again, Bay Area News Group, Mercury News, East Bay Times, here with Joseph Dycus, Mike Lefkow. Guys, how are you?
Doing great. Another edition of Bay Area News Group Pick 'em After Dark, right?
Pick 'em after dark. We had to shuffle the schedule. My daughter's birthday was today. We got another thing going on Tuesday. So we're taping this on Monday night. Normally we tape on Tuesday morning. So it's Monday night. We're missing Monday Night Football, right? Anybody have an update?
I mean, last I saw was halftime. Right. Yeah, the Giants are just not good. I don't know why they're on national TV.
They're playing the Seahawks tonight?
Yes, they are.
The Giants are on national TV because they're in New York.
That's true.
Jets were on national TV yesterday, but
they always make sure the Jets and Giants get a game on Monday night.
That's for sure. So anyhow, we're taping this on Monday night. We had our Monday morning lights this morning. We had some fun with it, right, Joseph?
Oh, tons of fun.
We had some mid-season recognition, some Player of the Year candidates. Luke Baker, right there at the top. Herschel Turner, right?
The Matt Diablo running back.
Yeah, Matt Diablo running back, and Michael Mitchell Jr., the sophomore quarterback at Archbishop Riordan, who set a WCAL record on Saturday with 6 touchdown passes against Valley Christian, and that strong defense that Valley brought up to the city.
Yes.
Anybody surprised by that outcome? Mike Lefkow, you picked Riordan. I took Valley, thought the defense, I guess I fell in love with the old cliche that defense wins championships, and I was proven wrong. But you had it nailed, Mike Lefkow.
I'm becoming more and more impressed with what Riordan's doing. I'm not saying I love the way they went about doing it, but that is a good football team. They've got a big offensive line. They can shove people around. I think Mitchell is a very underrated quarterback. He's only a sophomore. He's going to be pretty good by the time he's a senior. And I mean, Ravapati is a very good football coach. He's
no doubt about it. The man had a lot of success at Menlo-Atherton, and took his lumps last season, and rebuilt the roster in some key areas. The line is incredibly big.
Yes,
I mean, I've seen some highlights. Joseph, you saw them in person. They just got this Lange kid who's now eligible, right? And I mean, he was throwing guys like me throwing a baby around. I mean, some of these guys that he was throwing around on Saturday, just looking at the highlights, I mean, it looked like an NFL guy going up against a bunch of boys.
Well, he's a transfer from Modern Day, and I feel like there's a joke you can make there if you wanted to about the NFL in Modern Day. But
there's a coach I've heard say that comparing those teams down south, the powerhouses down there, to the NFL. Yeah. But no, I mean, I agree with you, Mike Lefkow, that you can't be anything but impressed by what Riordan is doing on the field. Moved up into our top 5. They started I think they started in the teens, but that was largely because, when you put a bunch of new faces together, you're not sure how it's all going to unfold. And it's definitely mixed well, and very impressed. And, we were talking off camera here. There are 2 really big games, not this week, but coming up here in October, that we've already circled on our calendar. On October 13th, it'll be De La Salle traveling to Danville to play San Ramon Valley. That would be a 2 versus 3 matchup if the rankings hold.
Mm-hmm.
And then on October 21, it'll be Riordan making the trip down to San Mateo to play Sarah, the number 1 team in Northern California. That will be one interesting matchup, right?
Yes. Especially after you saw what Sarah did to St. Francis this Saturday.
Running clock for the entire 4th quarter. But seeing that Riordan line, It's pretty good, pretty impressive.
Well, the thing is they wear down opponents with the size of their line, and those are skilled kids too. They're good players. Right. They're not just big; they're good.
Right. And I mean, Mike Lefkow had mentioned earlier that not sure that he liked the way that Riordan went about it. That might just be modern day football, Mike Lefkow. I mean, you and I are from the old school, and there was no transfer portal in college football when we covered college football, and transfers always had that that stigma about them, and maybe that's more us than them. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there to play devil's advocate.
Well, I think to a degree, it is more us than them. I mean, this is the way high school football is now, and it's not only in the private schools.
Mm-hmm. You see it all the time down south.
Schools. I'll tell you about one that I saw this weekend. I'm not going to say it on this show. I'll tell you once we get done. But I mean, there are some surprising transfers out there in the public schools as well as in the private schools. I mean, again, I've been a big a supporter of separating the publics and the privates, and I still am. But
me too.
The publics are not all as innocent, and I mean it goes on both in publics and privates.
Right.
And give Riordan credit. They decided they were going to do this. They got a very good coach. He's brought that team together, and I think they're going to be a tough team for Sarah. I think that's going to be a very tough game for Sarah.
The Riordan game.
Yeah, the Riordan game.
Right.
And in my mind, Riordan is the second best team in the West Cal, no question.
Which means they're the second best team in CCS.
All right, yeah, and then they're the second best team in the CCS too. But I think right now, Sarah and Riordan are a step or two ahead of anybody else in the West Cal.
It looks that way. We were talking a little bit about SI beating Bellarmine by a point on Friday night, but just last week, SI went to Riordan and lost by a touchdown. So I mean, Riordan's had some. That was a close game, and Joseph, you were at the game that they lost, but they didn't have Lange in those games, right?
No, they did not.
That young man is huge. I would not want to see the grocery bill that it takes to feed a kid of that size.
I saw him on the sideline, and he is massive.
Yeah,
his younger brother's on Riordan's team also.
Yes,
very good. Before we get to the picks, what else is on your guys' mind? We kind of have an open forum here tonight. We normally have some topics, and we just delved into Riordan and its rise to prominence on the football field. Normally we see when we talk about Riordan, we talk about basketball, and now we're talking about Riordan football. Anything else in you guys' minds?
Well, Monday Morning Lives, we also talked about some of the surprise teams this year, and we picked out Deer Valley and Oakland. They both came into the year with almost 20-game losing streaks over multiple years.
Oakland had a 21-game losing streak, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And Deer Valley had an 18-game streak, and Deer Valley's 3-2, and Oakland they're 4-1. They lost their last game to Atascadero, but obviously both teams much better this year. And Miramonte, they lose their UCLA quarterback, and you think, they might struggle a little bit. Well, they're 5-0, they're 2-0 in their league, and who needs a great quarterback when you just run the ball? And that's what they've done. Complete
done. They still have some tough tests coming up with Acalanes and Campolindo and Las Lomas, which is also undefeated. So,
but Trim had his share of success at Encinal a few years ago, so he's won before. He knows what he's doing.
Right. Before we get to the picks, Mike Lefkow, you saw in Monday Morning Lights, and obviously it happened over the weekend, that Bob Ladouceur and Terry Edson were inducted into the De La Salle Athletic Hall of Fame. I watched it on the stream. Very, I mean, obviously, what else can you say about these guys and what they've done, and the men that they've molded, to go on. And I compared, I saw what happened at Sarah the other day. Patrick Walsh getting on one of his players who had a little bit of extracurricular activity after his hard hit on a St. Francis running back, and it just showed that that Walsh is trying to build men of character, which is what you should be trying to do at the high school level. And then listening to those speeches yesterday, you could see where Walsh got that from. I'm sure he got it from home as well with his parents, but also from his coaches there at De La Salle. What thoughts do you have about Ladouceur and Edson going into the Athletic Hall of Fame there in Concord?
Well, the first thing I thought is, how long is the waiting period before you can go into the De La Salle?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
What's that?
They wanted to go in together, and I think Terry was still coaching, and now he's back coaching. So I don't know. Yeah. So there they are together.
Yeah, and they should be together. I mean, they were the ones. I mean, Ladouceur obviously was the head coach, but Edson is a great defensive coordinator and
special teams, as they noted.
Right.
Yes.
And you see the improvement in De La Salle's defense this year. I mean, he's not I don't think he is the defensive coordinator, but he's helping out on the defense. And
he's a special teams guy this year. Yeah.
Right. But he is a terrific coach. And, of course, Ladd, I mean, a lot of people will tell you that Ladd might be the best high school coach of all time.
Hard to argue that. 399 wins. They said he won 28 North Coast section championships and lost 25 games total. So he won more section championships than he lost games for his career. Not bad.
I mean, sure. And you used to see what they
Joseph speechless over there.
Oh, I feel like you guys definitely a little more qualified to talk about that. My knowledge of Ladouceur is a 5-minute conversation I had with him on the sideline, watching that movie When the Game Stands Tall, which, by the way, we had the rare opportunity to use a photo of Hollywood actors portraying coaches, which we couldn't pass up. And then I obviously read the book. I think that was a topic, was it last year? We had like a conversation about me reading the book and my thoughts on it. So
you read the book, you read Neil's book, Neil Hayes, and then watched the movie.
I did this summer. I decided to watch the movie. And let me tell you, the guy who played Ladouceur, he got the mannerisms down. Now, maybe the Edson actor, maybe not quite as 1-to-1.
Yeah, that was I compared it to the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman playing Art Howe in the Moneyball movie. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. When the Game Stands Tall, that movie was done much, much better than Moneyball. I mean, Moneyball was just a hack job. I mean, what they did to Art Howe, it was awful. And I mean, what they did to Grady Fuson, one of the Ace Scouts, was awful too. I mean, it was just. I watched it once. I've never watched it again.
You never watched it again?
No.
Yeah. They made some of those guys look kind of silly.
Yeah, they did. And then, I mean, they took a few licenses with When the Game Stands Tall as well.
Right. Well, that's what they do with all Hollywood movies.
I think that one father of a De La Salle player who was so difficult to deal with, from what I understand, there was no father that year. That was an invention of the movie.
Oh, I think I read our East Bay Times review of that movie after that, and they said that they made up that entire character, the player and the parent.
And the parent. You have to have a parent at the high school level. Which high school coach hasn't dealt with a parent or 2 or 3 or 4 or 100? Right.
I used to see that when I was covering Stanford. There were some parents who could be real difficult.
Oh my God. Hey, you guys ready to do some picks? We got 16 games to choose. Joseph, I'm sorry to report that last week you went 9-7. Lefkow and I were 13-3. Joseph now through 6 weeks trails yours truly in the standings by 15.
15. How many more weeks do we have? Like what? Seven more weeks?
We have 5 regular season and then 5 playoffs, so 10 more weeks.
So really, I need to outproduce you by like 2 games every week. I'll catch up
per week. Mike Lefkow also went 13-3 last week. He still trails by 6 games in the standings. Let's get this thing rolling. Thursday night, Mount Pleasant 3-2 at Lee 3-2. I got Lee winning. Lee is 5-0 against Mount Pleasant in the Max Preps era, which goes back to 2004. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going to take Lee as well.
Lefkow?
Yep, make it a threesome. I'm going to go with Lee.
All right. Dublin at Granada, Friday night. Max Preps thinks this is going to be, or excuse me, Cal Preps thinks this is going to be close, 28-22. They think Lee's going to win 38-6 over Mount Pleasant. I took Granada to win. I also think it's going to be close. I think Dublin's a pretty good team. They're both 4-2. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going to take Granada. I got to see them last week, and they were a few plays away in that first half of making it a much closer game against Cal than the final score indicated.
Okay. Mike Lefkow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Granada. I think they've got a pretty good group of players this year.
So all 3 of us are going Granada, and Cal Preps also going Granada 28-22. Menlo School with red hot Mikey McGrath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback, traveling a few miles down the El Camino Real to play Palo Alto. Palo Alto at 2-3. Cal Preps thinks it's going to be fairly close, 28-17 Menlo. I got the visitors winning as well to go to 6-0. I got Menlo winning. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I think Menlo continues to win.
I do as well. I hate to agree with you guys on all these. It's killing me.
Hey, to keep
Maybe
pace, you have to agree unless you're going to swing big.
Right.
And you've been swinging pretty damn big, right? The last few weeks.
Yeah, I think I'm Kyle Schwarber, but I'm just like Kyle Schwarber without hitting any of the home runs.
There you go. Game 4 on the list, game that Joseph Dycus will be at there in Pleasanton, where Monta Vista and Johnny Millard, head coach at Monta Vista, former Foothills star, going up against his alma mater for the first time as the head coach of the Mustangs. Monta Vista at 3-2, but had a bye last week and had losses to Campo Lindo and Amador Valley, correct? To before the bye. Going up against a 1-4 Foothill team that's coming off a tough loss to Livermore, but beat Amador the previous week. I kind of went back and forth on this. I know Cal Preps has Monta Vista winning 41-24. I ended up going Monta Vista, but I almost leaned Foothill. I think it's going to be an emotional game. It's a league opener for both teams. Mike Lefkow, what do you see in this one?
I've got Monta Vista winning. I don't know that it's going to be a 1-score game. I think if Monta Vista starts to roll, I'm not looking for a running clock, but I think they can win comfortably.
Joseph?
I really wanted to take a swing on this one, but I think the Cal Preps computer kind of has it right. I think it's going to be like a 41-24, 41-20 kind of game, not running clock.
Okay. St. Mary's, Berkeley, traveling to Kennedy Richmond. Kennedy Richmond's 3-9 in the Max Preps era against St. Mary's and lost to St. Mary's 37-0 last season. I think St. Mary's rolls in this game. I've got St. Mary's. Mike, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with St. Mary's.
Joseph?
I will take St. Mary's as well.
And the computer from Cal Preps says St. Mary's 35-6. Burlingame at Mountain View. This is an important game. It's a PAL Bay Division game. There's 6 teams in that division, and because they moved these teams up to the quote-unquote A+ league now in the PAL, there's like 5 divisions in that league. 5 of the 6 teams automatically qualify for the CCS playoffs. So the loser of this game could finish 6th. The winner will finish probably no worse than 5th. So this could be for a playoff spot here. I got Mountain View coming off a tough loss to Wilcox last week, winning at home And so does Cal Preps, 41-20. Joseph, who you got?
Can't argue with the computer. I'll take Mountain View.
And Mike Lefkow?
Yep, I'm going to go with Mountain View.
All right. Castro Valley, 2-3. At Moreau Catholic, 2-3. Moreau is 1-4 against Castro Valley in the Max Preps era and lost to 1-4 against Castro Valley Max Preps era, but won last season 48-31. I got Moreau winning here. Who do you have, Joseph?
You know what? I will go with Castro Valley on this one.
Mike Lefkow.
I think Moreau Catholic wins.
And the computer has Moreau Catholic winning by 25, 35-10. Cappuccino and Milpitas. This was a really tough one to pick. Cappuccino 5-0, Milpitas 4-1. This is an Ocean Division game in the PAL. Cal Preps had a tough time picking this one too, but the computer settled on Milpitas 21-20. I settled on Milpitas too. I took Sequoia last week, and Milpitas won with a late field goal. I think Milpitas wins at home. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Milpitas. I like what Cappuccino has done this year, but I'm going to go with the home team.
Joseph?
Yeah, I feel the same as Lefty. Cappuccino's got some good wins, but I think Milpitas playing at home will be the difference.
All right. Next one is Lincoln San Jose at 3-2, traveling to Live Oak 4-0. This is a Blossom Valley Athletic League Mount Hamilton division game. I got Live Oak winning. I think this is a really good Live Oak team. They are picked by Cal Preps at 35-6. I could see a score like that. Live Oak has the check mark in my book. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, Live Oak. They're playing at home. They're a good team.
Mike Lefkow?
Yeah, I'm Live Oak comfortably. Could have a running clock on this one.
Terra Nova and San Mateo. San Mateo is 1-7 against Terra Nova in the Max Preps era, but won last year, 26-14. I got San Mateo winning this one at home. Joseph, who you got?
I'm going to take Terra Nova.
Okay. Mike?
I'm going to agree with Joseph. I think Terra Nova gets this one.
And the computer also says Terra Nova wins 20-14. There's a chance for you to pick up a game, Joseph.
Exactly.
That one, and now suddenly you're 14 games back.
Mm-hmm.
Tennyson at Bishop O'Dowd. I got O'Dowd winning. Both teams are 1-4, but somebody's going to have to win that MVAL WACC Foothill division, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of these people
win it. Yeah.
Someone's going to win it and make the play.
It's the AL Central of East Bay football.
Bay Area high school football in the East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I got Bishop O'Dowd winning. The computer has Bishop O'Dowd winning 35-17. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
Yep, I'm going to go with the Dragons. Bishop O'Dowd wins.
Joseph?
I will go with O'Dowd as well.
All right.
They've played a couple of tough teams in Marin Catholic and Mac.
That's
so
true. Those are two very good teams. This one, Sacred Heart Prep 3-2 at Los Gatos 3-2. Sacred Heart Prep, I think, beat Burlingame last week pretty convincingly. Los Gatos coming off a 10-point loss at home in a marquee game between the East Bay and South Bay Public School Powers. Sacred Heart Prep won last year. This game 10-7. I don't see that happening this year. I got Los Gatos winning. Computer has Los Gatos winning 38-14. Joseph, who you got?
I'm taking Los Gatos. I don't know if it's going to be 38-14, though. That seems a little bit too much.
A little bit too much for a Mark Grebe Sacred Heart Prep team.
Yeah.
Mike Lefkow?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Los Gatos. I think the score might be more like 38-24 than 38-14.
All right. Wilcox at MA. This should be a good game. Wilcox coming off a big win last week over Mountain View. MA's 2-3. I think they had last week off. The computer has Wilcox winning 21-7. I got Wilcox winning 2. Lefty, who you got?
I got Wilcox in a close one.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm taking Wilcox in a close one as well.
All right. Well, you can't get much closer than this next one, according to Cal Preps. SI 3-2, traveling to St. Francis 2-3. Big game in the WCAL. Neither of these teams will win the league, but I think both will finish in the upper half. Definitely the winner of this game will, I think. Computer has St. Francis winning 34-33. I got St. Francis winning 2. Joseph, who you got?
Man, it's tough. St. Francis is playing in Mountain View, so that I think that'll give them the slight edge. I also don't know if it's going to be, you said 34-33 is what Cal Preps is picking. I don't know if it's going to be that high scoring.
Okay. Mike Lefkow, how do you see this game unfolding?
Yeah, I think St. Francis wins. I think it's going to be a one-score game, but I'm going to go with the Lancers.
Is it going to be in the 30s or is it going to be lower?
I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring. I don't think you're going to see both teams getting in. I don't think it's going to be 34-33. Maybe 24-23.
I was going to say
24-20.
Let's say 20 to 17. So,
ooh, okay. This next one's an interesting matchup. The Ugly Eagles of Clayton Valley at 2-3. They played a very tough schedule. Going to be at home to play San Ramon Valley. San Ramon 5-0, had last week off. San Ramon has that big one next week against De La Salle, but I mean, technically, this one's bigger than that one next week because De La Salle doesn't win the league. De La Salle gets the automatic spot if it beats everybody on its from the league, but they don't win the league. The second place team wins the league. De La Salle only plays 4 league games. Everybody else plays 5 league games. So Clayton, I think, won this thing last year, right, Lefty? Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
They beat San Ramon by 2 touchdowns. I don't see them beating San Ramon by 2 touchdowns on Friday night. I think it's going to be closer than Cal Preps is projecting. Cal Preps says San Ramon will win 42-6. I think maybe a couple scores unless Clayton just gets really, really physical and keeps the score down. But I got to see it to believe it. I'm going to take San Ramon. Mike Lefkow, who you got?
I'm going to take San Ramon, but I think Clayton could make it interesting, especially if they can play them tough in the first half.
Yeah,
what's that?
It won't be 42-6 unless San Ramon hammers them early like they did Liberty.
That's the thing. If SRV gets on a roll early, then who knows? But if not, I think 24-7, 24-10 is not unreasonable.
Okay. Joseph?
Yeah, I think San Ramon Valley is going to – I'm not going to say they're going to run clock them. It'll be but I think it'll be, like you said, 2 touchdowns maybe. Comfortable win. Lefty, do you think there's any chance that SRV does kind of come out slow, though, with the De La Salle game, next week? Do you think there's a chance this might be a little bit of a letdown game?
Well, I mean, that's going to depend on how good a job the coaching staff does at making sure the players don't start looking ahead, because that would be an easy thing to do for San Ramon. But, I mean, they've got to make sure that the players know they've got to win this game before they start thinking about De La Salle.
They win this game, they quote unquote should win the league, right? Well, California has been very impressive, and who else from the league could beat San Ramon? Monte Vista, maybe.
No, you never know because it's a rivalry game.
It is a rivalry game.
I think San Ramon is a step or 2 above the other teams in the league this year, except for maybe De La Salle.
But remember, if San Ramon wins this one and wins next week, they will get the automatic bid out of the EBAL Mountain and not De La Salle, and would be the number 1 seed in the NCS playoffs in that open / Division 1. So the game next week is important, but this one is similarly important if San Ramon wants to win the league. So we all have San Ramon.
Yes.
Last game on the list, Westmont at Sabedra. This is a Saturday afternoon game in the Blossom Valley Athletic League down in the South Bay. Westmont had a big win last week, but Sabredo's been really good and played Live Oak close. That kind of opened my eyes and clearly opened the computer's eyes, because the computer has Sabedra winning 38-14. I don't know if it's going to be that lopsided, but I got Sabedra winning at home. Joseph, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking Sabedra too. They've got that Noah Taylor kid that seems to run for 200 yards every time I look at the roundup.
Mike Lefkow.
Yep, I have to agree with you guys. I think Sabredo's got a good team this year, and we'll win this game.
We'll handle business. Like always, check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com, coverage all week. A lot of coverage on the weekends. Sign up for that digital subscription. Send in nominees for athlete
of the week.
Varsity nominees from fall sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
All CIF sports.
We take all CIF sports. Do not be shy, coaches.
We don't want sailing. We don't want boxing. We just want CIF sports, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Send them in. And how do they send them in, Joseph?
Via email.
Yeah, but where are you sending? I mean,
The
there's
high schools at bayareanewsgroup.com.
And high schools is all one word.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Lefkow, any parting shots?
No, not this week. I think no, don't really have any parting shots. I guess the one I was going to say is one coach I thought should have been considered as doing a really nice job this year is Jay Oka over at Cappuccino.
Someone else mentioned that, and I think we definitely could have added Jay. Cappuccino's off to a great start. Somehow slipped through the cracks. That was not intentionally by any stretch of the imagination, right, Joseph?
Right.
But you were correct.
I don't even know if he slipped through the cracks. I mean, it is my opinion, but I think he's done a nice job.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He's done a great job. And we'll see how they do this week as they travel to the South Bay to play Milpitas. Right?
We will. It's one of the big games.
Which is so weird that Cappuccino and Milpitas is a league game in 2023.
Yes.
That's realignment for you.
Anyhow, that's it for a Monday night taping. I'm going to wrap this up right now.